216-578-1007. To join us, phones are live. 800-348-1007. 35192 if you'd like to text. I will see all those. If you are a podcast listener or can't join us live, you can always use the Alan Cox Show After Hours line. That is 216-986-8903. Did Mary's gas lady take the handstand picture?
No, I did that on a self-timer.
All right.
Yeah.
Another handstand picture.
What's the significance of the handstand again?
Because I can.
Because she's really mad that she's not a cheerleader anymore.
I'm not mad.
You're mad that you're not a cheerleader anymore.
I am nostalgic for cheerleading.
Oh!
And not a lot of people can do handstands. So I'm showing off.
In your defense, you are closer to cheerleader shape than you were.
I am.
Yeah.
I am much. And I have the room to do it when there's no furniture.
I meant male cheerleader.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bulking up for the season.
Those traps are coming in nice.
Room, so you got to get through those doorways filled up.
No, yeah. My landlord today, so he came to just kind of check out my apartment because he knew I was moving out tonight just to see what needs painted, yada, yada. And then when he got upstairs to the new place, I had all my stuff there except for the furniture, like the big furniture. And he asked me how many friends helped me. And I was like, no, I've only done this so far. And then I have a few friends coming over tonight. And he was blown away that nobody helped me move so far. And he was like, by yourself? Like, he got really big eyes. I was like, yeah, I did it all by myself. He goes, you're incredible. Just like that. I was like, oh, thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm an independent woman. And he just kind of shook his head. He's like, very good, very good. Like,
oh, my God, I should have charged you more.
I know. Like, he was so impressed with the fact that I moved my own stuff.
Yeah.
But
Alan, I always wake up at the crack of dawn. Dawn is my wife's name. I get it. Totally get it. Totally get it.
In the
Also,
crack
the
of
sun
dawn.
comes up at like 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah, so it's not that early.
So you
That's
like to
the
be awakened by the sun, is what you're
Me?
saying.
No.
No, she likes to sleep later. She thinks
If I
7:30
could
is super
sleep
early.
Yeah, if I could sleep till
because
noon every
I
day, I
see.
would.
What time do you go to bed?
Last night I went to bed at like midnight.
Yeah, so that's a
if
good
I
amount
could
of
sleep till noon, I would like to. Also,
Yeah.
I just wake up early.
Go back to bed.
No, once I'm awake,
It's a better way to do
my
it.
brain,
I know that.
I don't even want to do that. My brain just goes, if you don't get up, you're wasting time. You're probably not going to go back to sleep. You're going to lie here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get up.
Just do it.
Just get up.
Yeah.
Now, what time do you wake up?
Me?
Yeah.
5:30.
5:45.
Ugh.
So I might lie there for like 15 minutes or something. But and I mean, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night.
And just be up.
I'll be up for like 2 hours, and then I'll go to sleep and, sleep another. But normally I'll just wake up. Yeah, 5:45, 6 o'clock, around there.
Yeah, that's a little early for me.
I think early, like a decent time for me to wake up is like 8:45. I think that's a normal. If I don't have anything to do, then I can kind of start my day. When I was going to the gym every day, I'd be up by like 8:45. I'd be at the gym by 9:30 at the latest. And that, like, anything earlier than 8:30 is too early, I think.
I'm trying to think of the ways, big picture, and obviously no one knows for sure, but I keep telling my wife this. I go, I'm trying to think of the ways in which everyone's life can be potentially improved immeasurably because of all this. Mm-hmm. On the other side of whatever. Like, in what ways that we can't even fathom will people be improved, either personally or collectively or whatever, And I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know, but I like to think about those things.
And waking up at a certain time?
Well, like maybe you feel, I imagine for people who don't have to get up because they're not working, unfortunately, there's going to be that couple of weeks where they're like in bed. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel purposeless or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you have kids, that's impossible because those kids are going to be up, waking you up, wanting to do stuff. So if you can remain glass half full about that, at least that's a purpose you have now, right? Yeah. Like my wife, I mean, they're kind of going stir crazy, but she's finding stuff to do with Nora.
Yeah.
Like your sister, these parents become de facto teachers. So, I don't know because nobody knows. I was just reading this morning, Cedar Point, we still plan on opening on time. First weekend in May is when they're planning on opening. They could be right. Mm-hmm. They could be right. May 2nd and 3rd is their opening weekend, and they're like, we're planning. That Monday is going to be Cinco de Mayo. For all we know, they could be right. I don't think so, but I don't know anything either.
Go figures. The year I get a gold pass.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing.
I've never had a pass to Cedar Point before, and then they were running that special last
for like
year.
$100.
It was $100, and you could put your credit towards it. So I bought my ticket for that day was like $60, and they're like, "Hey, just give us another $40, and you have all next year." And I was like, "Why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
Better get at least one out of it."
I will say I have heard stories about people not necessarily attacking nurses, but like coming at them, like when they either before they go into their shift or after they're done and they go into like the store and just getting groceries or something like that, and people are afraid to approach them because they think they're going to spread the virus or something like that.
They're the cleanest
Your
people.
nurses know what they're doing, and sometimes they haven't even gotten to work yet, and they are coming from work and they're clean, they're sterile, and they just want a bite to eat. They've been working 13, 14-hour shifts.
And they can't go home at this point. Like, a lot of them are working and they're not being able to go see their family.
That breaks my heart,
Yeah.
like, to know that these people are on the front lines risking their lives, and they're getting attacked when they go into a store because they haven't eaten or they're not getting breaks. So cool your jets, people. Just had to say that.
Well, maybe after all this, we'll speak to doctors and nurses and first responders with the old "thank you for your service" like we do with military.
Child care workers, too.
I saw a nurse coming out of my building. I think she's dealing with old kicky foot. And
Did you ask her? I know there's HIPAA laws,
no,
but
but
did you try to pry any information out of her?
No,
about
I
old
didn't-
Kicky Foot.
Because I don't know who she's actually working with, but I just saw her and I thought maybe I'd
That's
say
how
like,
you go. Are you working with Kicky Foot?
and then I have to explain who Kicky Foot is. And,
Oh, she'll know.
Yeah, she might. Maybe.
She'll be like,
She'll
"Oh my
be
god, I
around.
call him that too. Oh my god."
Yeah, so
Let's kvetch.
we'll see if I run into her again. But I thought about saying, hey, thank you for all you're doing right now. I know you're making sacrifices.
You should have.
But then I didn't because I don't know. It felt weird to just like because she was like across the parking lot. I'd be like, hey,
Scream it.
you're doing good.
I just
Shout
couldn't
it from the
believe it.
rooftop.
I couldn't believe that people are like yelling at them, telling them to get out of a store. Like, get out of here. You're going to spread that around. Like, are you kidding me?
I was talking with my friend. I was
People
like,
are processing this in very different ways. I mean, you know.
But a nurse?
Well,
That's the first
yeah.
person you go to?
I know.
the grocery store is the place where I'm probably the most adverse to going, only because I feel like it's so high volume right now and people are constantly in there. That's where I would, if I feel like here's super clean, I know my apartment's clean,
But
everything's
there's so many
sanitized.
stores, though.
Yeah, I know.
You can go to a corner store and they're probably open.
Here's what you do. You know that Amazon is down to shipping essential items, right? They're not going to restock things. So we were talking, they're not, other than the vinyl that they have in their warehouses, they're not getting more vinyl in, right? So you go to a lot of things on Amazon that you might have been able to get before. It'll say currently unavailable. They're kind of focusing on items that need to be disseminated to people. But I bet if you went on there, you could get an old lady costume. Probably a minimal investment. You know, it's not peak time for costumes.
Grandma
right?
chic.
They're granny chic. So you get yourself a sweater, get yourself an old lady costume, and then you go grocery shopping in that special hour that they have for seniors. Like Giant Eagle, I think, does 9 to 10 a.m., where you have to be 65 plus to get in there because they want to separate the people who are the most susceptible to catching something from the general population, right? That's their administrative segregation. So their ad seg is 9 to 10. They don't want to mix them with Gen Pop, right? You get yourself an old lady costume, pass yourself off as a senior citizen, and then you get in there.
Yeah.
Mrs. Old Peppermint.
And Mrs. Peppermint.
Hello, I just moved into a...
I need some supplies.
That's right, I'm Gasolina.
Gasolina Peppermint here.
Yeah, hello. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, you know? Out of crisis comes, from chaos comes order, and from crisis comes opportunity.
And then maybe you develop some great character.
Or perhaps, and hear me out, perhaps you end up meeting the one.
And he's 65 plus.
And then you have to, you know, the big issue up till now when everything was fine and dandy is people not representing themselves properly on dating apps,
Correct.
right? I'm sure you've fallen prey to this. Some guy, plenty of women do it too, they find their foxiest picture,
Catfishing.
put it up, and then you meet him, they've put on an extra 20, whatever, but they're trying to cast themselves in the best possible light. This is along that line where you start developing a relationship with this man, except eventually you have to tell him that you're not, in fact, Marlene
yeah.
Peppermint.
Mrs. Peppermint.
You're Mary Santora. And you're not 67 years old from phase 2 of Del Boca Vista. You are 30 and
only
living.
recently living above ground.
Yeah.
That's right.
Old bat fishing.
Yeah. So there's
And
something
then he's
there.
like, that's going to be a nail in the coffin for this relationship. I can't go upstairs.
Oh, yeah. There's
Right.
no elevator.
I'm afraid that's a deal breaker. I would have.
My hips don't work like they used to.
Had you still been in the ground, I would have come visited.
Gasolina
I can't
lady did ask me that. She was like, "Why are you moving from the first floor all the way up to the third floor? Why?" I was like, "Oh, I just want another bedroom." And then I was like, "And it's above ground. Why is anybody questioning why I don't want to live in a basement?"
Because
But
she
then-
probably, because that building lies to people. The first floor is not really the first floor, and she probably just saw it on her work order, first floor, not realizing that you were
In a terrace
underground.
apartment.
Yeah,
garden apartment.
tear
Bill.
ass up to the third floor. Right.
So many stairs. I'm just so beat up. My spine hurts.
You don't
I
have a
feel
freight
like-
elevator?
No, we don't have anything.
It's an old, it's only
It's an
2
old
flights.
building.
Well, I've lived in old buildings that had like the old timey collapsible metal.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got to crank it. You
What
know,
am I thinking of? The thing that you sit in the wall.
the dumbwaiter.
Dumbwaiter.
That's only if you're being chased by like
Ghosts.
a murderer or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a dumb bitch waiter in my
Yeah,
apartment.
you're
I'll
not
take a
actually
dumb bitch
using
waiter.
that to get up and down.
Why not? That seems like the most efficient way to go from one
I
floor
feel like
to
it
another.
wouldn't carry you. Like, not you personally, but like it wouldn't carry
I've
a
seen
human.
it in movies.
One of my
Movies.
when I was growing up, my best friend Neil. All right, he's been dead 25 years now. Died very young, but when we were little kids, he was my best friend, and our moms were best friends. That's usually how you get a best friend. is
Right.
Their moms are friends, right? But we went to school together and all that. Knew each other from very very early on. His family was loaded. So they had this massive house, and they had a dumbwaiter that went for, it was like a 3-floor mansion or whatever, and they had a dumbwaiter that went from the kitchen down into whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
It's for food.
it's
I thought.
for food. Yeah,
so
like,
you can-
like from the root cellar up to the to kitchen. Anyway, his mom used to get so pissed because we would go up and down in the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
So dangerous.
I was terrified, but I wanted to play along.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, it's your
Could you
house.
both fit in it?
No, like
Oh.
one at a time. Like
Yeah.
we, as a goof, we'd like send his little sister, and she'd be screaming or whatever. So that's probably why the mom didn't like it.
I feel like
Yeah,
it was
that's-
snap though. and then-
No, because it was
You weighed what, 40 pounds?
well, but for me, because I listen, I wasn't a rule breaker as a kid, so I was like, I don't want to do that. But his sister was the canary in the coal mine, so I was like, okay, well,
Snitch.
not that. I was like, if it works.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he's not going to put his sister in it if it's prone to breaking.
Yeah.
It's his house. I'm like, he knows if this works. This isn't the first time he's ever done it. So I felt a little bit more comfortable going in, but it's still creepy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh,
thing, you get in, the thing comes down, and
And
you
then
know.
you're in the wall. You're just
Yeah.
in the wall.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I feel like now you're gonna push me into a rat or a spider. I'm gonna go into a web, so I'm just smacking around and
You're not in the walls of the house.
You just hear,
You're
"What's going on?"
You're in a
Shaft.
tiny.
Wall shaft.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're in a shaft. Does that change your mind
I was
about
gonna say
it?
he would have liked it.
You would like a wall shaft.
You were in a big long shaft. Yeah, you're in like a little elevator shaft.
Yeah.
I know I've seen them before. I don't like them.
The only thing,
dark.
it's not even close to the same thing, but the only thing my friend and I would do when we were like bored that was kind of unsafe is that we would put the dryer on air fluff and we'd ride in the dryer.
Oh God.
Oh my god!
Incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
That's like way more dangerous.
How?
Because if you get locked in, or if
You're
some,
gonna get locked in. How are you gonna get locked in?
how are you going to get locked in?
Yeah, it's a dryer. They don't lock.
They've found dead kids in dryers before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but they were in there on accident.
Just like you could hit your head or something.
Put a pillow. We put our head on it, and we'd
And
rest
also,
our head on the pillow, and we'd
You're
spit.
gonna destroy the dryer so fast doing that.
How?
because it's
These
not
dryers
made.
aren't made for children.
It's not made for body weight. It's made for laundry weight.
Mm-hmm.
How heavy is the biggest load?
336.
Come on, 10 pounds? We were little kids. We might have weighed 50 pounds.
Some of these
Yeah,
little.
but 50 pounds is a lot
That's
in
a
a
lot.
dryer.
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
But
that's
before we move
dangerous.
on here, some of the clips that I will pull from this show, they're kind of throwaway clips, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get so much use out of this clip.
How much
Yeah.
is the heaviest load? Whatever.
Oh, boy. I'll be expecting all kinds of fun new questions from my daughter when I go home today.
Laundry is heavy.
Do you still have to chase her around even though she's like home all day?
Oh, yeah. How's her
wait.
energy level?
Yeah, I come home and she goes,
Say hello to my ass.
uh-huh. Oh, we still were curious as to where that came from, and then randomly we're watching The Simpsons last night, and Homer says it. And I go, that's when he has, remember when he has, I think it was Treehouse of Terror, maybe season 12, the magic hammock? Send in the clones is what it was, where he keeps making Homer clones.
And he says, say hello to my ass?
Yeah, he gets, there's a guy on the sidewalk, he goes, hammock man! And he said, this hammock's not any normal hammock, it's evil, you know. And he goes, yeah, say hello to my ass. Yeah, I'm still running around, I'm still chasing her around, sure.
And not like she's like, well, did we mention the sickness thing on the air yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, because the sickness thing. Will I be able to see
Did
my
she?
friends after
Did
the
you?
sickness?
She goes, will I be able to see my friends after the sickness?
The sickness. That's so creepy.
Because we were trying, we were explaining
it.
what's going on, and you know, I think there are a lot of parents worried about that. They're like, you know,
How do you do it in a way that doesn't freak them out? You know what I mean? Like, you want to be honest and tell them what's going on, but not scare them.
yeah. Not only that, I'm just thinking of like the playgroup situation. I mean, she and her friends and Gwen's mom friends. You know, these people who were all seeing each other on a regular basis, and now aren't at all.
Yeah.
My daughter's teacher, however, was having all of the students like send each other little video messages and stuff. So that was cute. So they're all doing that or whatever. There's ways that you can, you know, keep people involved, but it's a lot harder for the parents.
Yeah.
I think than the kids.
We're headed towards a society that's like the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis,
Oh,
which is
God.
very upsetting.
I remember the movie. I don't remember seeing the movie.
I don't think I
though.
saw it. I just
It's
know
a
that-
comic book, I think.
I know that people had like robots that would go out and live their lives for them, and they'd stay home.
It was like a VR double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like there's
Like
people
in
were out
Aladdin.
in the real world, but it was like a robot that was out there for them. And then it started to break down and people started going out as themselves.
By the way, if you have stock in like VR technology or something.
And you're not a senator.
Oh, God, these senators. These Republican supervillains who they found out were dumping stock after they got prepped on the coronavirus. And while still telling... I'll play some of the audio, though.
Yeah.
They found out that a handful of these Republican senators were briefed on what was coming with the coronavirus months ago. January, maybe?
Yeah.
And told the public to stay calm. This is nothing. Meanwhile, they were dumping millions of dollars of stock that they had.
What does that mean?
In in bio companies. That it was
they
essentially
were investing in those companies.
no. It's
No.
like insider trading.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's
they,
like
they
these-
knew that the stock market was going to take a crap, and so they're like, okay, let me get some money out of it now while it's still
they took
good.
their money back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me cash out.
Like Bitcoin.
Right, they're finding more and more of these Republican
Yeah, I
senators
think there's
that
3 or
did
4 of
this.
them right now.
Some of them paid stock in like whatever. I think it was like Zoom or something like that. One of these streaming services, or not streaming services, one
Like
of these
teleconferencing.
Yeah.
teleconferencing, because they knew a bunch of people were going to be working from home, so they put their money in there because they knew it was getting ready to blow up. Ain't that some mess?
Senator,
They can get in trouble for this.
No, they have immunity because they're senators.
That doesn't seem right. Martha Stewart went to jail for
Yeah.
this.
Martha Stewart is not a senator.
well, because
She's
technically,
a public figure.
listen, please. They don't have immunity from insider trading. It's still a federal crime, but I don't know that they count this because they go, look, I didn't do this. My financial person did this. That's their answer or whatever. But if you don't know what's going on with your money, everybody
Your
knows what's
financial
going on with the
person
money.
Did that right after you had this meeting.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
Told people weeks ago, Senator Richard Burr, who's kind of the tip of the spear here, he is on the Senate Intelligence Committee. These people get a lot of classified information. He was front and center on the Republican side during the whole impeachment thing and all that. They're getting briefed. He told people in a meeting that this outbreak could be like the Spanish flu of 1918. But when these guys would speak publicly, they would tell, the public, don't worry about it.
Chill
It's no
out,
big deal."
yeah.
He sold $2 million of his own stock a week before the markets tanked. And they're finding more and more people that did this.
Yeah. Who was the?
There's one thing that I can tell you about this. It is much more aggressive in its transmission than anything that we have seen in recent history. It's probably more akin to the 1918 pandemic.
So, I mean, it's muddy, but that's some of the audio from this speech that he was giving, a closed-door meeting to people about what was potentially coming. And so now they're finding out that all these people dumped their stock as soon as they found this out.
Who was the lady?
Okay, now wait.
Because there's this lady that did the same thing, basically, and she's married to the guy that's like the head of the stock exchange, which I feel like that's got to be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, there's a freshman senator, this Republican girl, Kelly Loeffler of Georgia. This Richard Burr guy of North Carolina, Jim Inhofe of Oklahoma, Kelly Loeffler of Georgia, all dumped stock after their coronavirus briefings about a month ago.
So my question is...
Telling the public everything was going to be fine, but privately selling millions of dollars of their stock in cash before the markets took a dump because they knew that this was coming.
I understand that it's not fair that they knew before the general public knew, but this kind of doesn't make sense to me why it's illegal.
Because there's a law against it.
It's considered it's considered insider trading in the financial world. If you have information that is not publicly known and you are able to make money off that in the stock exchange, it's almost like gaming the system. It's weird because the stock market is largely kind of an inside game anyway.
Yeah.
The trouble with these people not getting in, they don't really get in trouble because it's very hard to prove that that's what they did. The optics are awful, but there's so much information coming out. This will go away in a couple of days. But
the Stock Act is out there, though, right? In 2012, they passed this bill that made it illegal for senators and congressmen to use that knowledge to do exactly what they did.
Okay, but
it's just hard to prove that's what they did because they all go, look, I have a financial guy, and he was just looking at where stocks were going, and I don't know. And so you can't. And it's not like they're going to open up hearings to figure out if senators were gaming there's other stuff going on right now.
I feel like any person who heard this news would do this exact same thing. Any human being. If they found out something was going to tank, they would take their money out of it.
Well, that's considered insider trading. Yeah. I mean, if you have information that is not that a lot of people aren't privy to.
So if you
but again,
know
that's
something,
that's also largely how kind of the stock market works anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That when people are like, "Oh, I just knew the timing was right" or whatever, doesn't it? It just seems to me like any person, senator, whoever, any civilian, if they heard that. What are they supposed to do? They have this information. They're just supposed to sit there and lose their money?
Well, but these people are government employees. We pay them. They work for us. I know that's been lost in a lot of this, but these are government employees.
And they're only getting that information because they are government employees.
They're on intelligence committees that are giving, they're getting literally inside information. And it's one thing, too, if you were going on television and saying, look, this is going to be bad. I sold my stock in this company. They didn't. Sold their stock, went on television, told the public, their employers, it's just blown out of proportion, it's a liberal hoax, that kind of stuff. That's the problem, is they were doing one thing and telling people something else entirely. Don't worry about it. Like, if you had stock in these companies and these guys went on TV and said it's going to be bad, you're right. You would sell your stock.
Right.
They went on television and said it's going to be fine, don't worry about it.
Okay. So that's where the issue is.
Yeah.
All right.
And using that information to do it.
I don't see how anybody would not use that information. Anybody.
Because it's against the law.
I think you're right. There are plenty of people who do that kind of stuff. They don't get caught.
I don't even think that would stop anybody. If you had $1 million in something and someone told you you're about to lose your $1 million, you wouldn't go take it out? It's against the law.
It's against the law.
So you're just like, oh, I guess I'm out $1 million? No way.
But
no way.
It depends on if you think you're going to get caught for insider trading. It's still illegal.
Because they can hide behind other people, like their financial advisors, they're going to get away with it. But this kind of stuff happens all the time.
I guess I don't really understand why it's illegal.
Because it's crisis profiteering.
Yeah.
It's the same as price gouging. It's making money off of a global pandemic.
Is it making money or it's just not losing money?
It's making money.
They're not making money. This is their money.
But they sold their stock before it took a
It'd be like
dump.
going and taking your money out of banks before the banks closed down in the 20s or whatever.
It's different. Because banks, that's the same money that you had.
This is their money that they had.
That was invested in these companies and then goes up and goes down. Like, your money isn't the same every single day in the stock market.
I get it, but it's your money. You invested it. So these are your investments. So whatever it's worth that day is yours.
Because if let's say you're watching the movement of a stock, financial analyst, my father-in-law's one, always watching CNBC, right? You're watching a stock. You're like, I got to keep my eye on this because I have $1 million in X stock, right? And if you see, the way most people trade, you see over the course of a week or a couple of weeks, it's going down. You call your guy, you go, I want to get out of this stock, sell this, because you're watching a pattern emerge, right? That's different than having inside information that this company is going to sell to someone else or blah, 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 or they're going to get bought. It goes either way. Somebody calls you and goes, next week, the government's going to approve a vaccine for X, Y, and Z company.
And it's
right?
this company, yeah.
And you get that inside information and you buy that stock and it shoots to the roof. That's inside information. That's different than watching a pattern in the stock market every day. You're like, or the reverse. I got to buy this stock because I see it's going up. You know, so you buy stock, whatever. That's different than somebody calling you going, next week. You ever see the movie Wall Street? That old movie is about that. Teldar paper, right?
Yeah.
Insider trading. Getting inside information about what a stock is going to do because of an acquisition or a loss or whatever. That's inside information.
I get the idea. I understand.
You're saying
that.
who wouldn't do that? I think you're
really
right.
don't get
It's still
why
illegal.
that's illegal. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Because it takes because if there's supposed to be some like a level playing field, and it makes it completely unfair to
It
people.
removes the
Everything. This whole thing is unfair.
right, but the illusion is that the market is supposed to regulate itself, kind of. And if some people are gaming, you're right. Some people are gaming it from the inside. They're certainly not supposed to be doing it if they're working for the government.
Right.
Anyway, I got a break. I'm
Yeah.
like way late here, but yeah, okay. 35192, you want to text. If you're a financial analyst and want to wipe your ass of what I just said, whatever, you know, because I certainly am not. It's how I understand it. 35192, you want to text, or Alan Cox Show.